Well, here's another one. Drive-by street beats. Just came from the neurologist. I think I left my dang sunglasses in there, man. They're somewhere around here, maybe. I'm all over the road. Blow a light. I'm a mess. So it's funny because I take Neurotins for my headache, and I ended up telling the receptionist chick a funny story about Nordies. I'm going to tell you this story because I was going to tell you some more party stories, but they're kind of like, oh, fighting and acting wild and tearing up parties. It's like, you know, it's not the most productive and positive thing I could be talking about. But I'm going to tell you a funny story about Neurotins. I didn't even know what they were. I remember when the doctor prescribed them to me years ago. I was on parole for my headaches, and they help a little bit. They definitely help, because if I don't take them consistently, my headache starts coming on pretty hard. I'm like, oh, I didn't take my Neurotins today. They're called Gabapentin is what they're called. I guess they're called Neurotins too. I don't know. And but I remember going into my parole officer, and he's like, you tested positive for, because my parole officer was a hard ass. He loved me. My parole officer, this is a true story. Jude Blumley, my parole officer, he said, first of all, he said, because I showed him pictures of me salmon fishing, me in New York promoting my books, and red carpets in Miami, deep sea fishing, catching this giant shark. I mean, I show him all these crazy out of my 4-wheeler ride, and you know, he comes by my house. I got a bunch of toys and a big pimped out Jeep, you know, on 24-inch rims and limo tinted with a big kicker in the back. Like, and I'm fresh out of prison. Like, you know, I've been 3 weeks out, and I got this badass Jeep and a garage full of toys, snowmobiles, and a 4-wheeler and a dirt bike. So he's like, bro, you're gonna have, and I'm, you know, flying around promoting my book, New York City at BookCon. Then I went to Miami for this red carpet event. You know, we pulled up in a limo, and I gave away a bunch of like in the intro to my the intro to my all these shows. You could see me walking, and I'm in a suit and wearing sunglasses, and I go, that's from that red carpet event for the Mob King premiere. And I had to get permission to go out of state, you know what I'm saying? So my parole officer, you know, I gave permission, and they gave it to me. I said, I'm promoting my book. I'm going to Miami. I'm going to go to this big party in Boca Raton, Miami, and give away a bunch of books and merch. And he's like, all right. Then New York City for BookCon, which is the biggest North American book publishing conference, and second biggest in the world. Frankfurt is the biggest one. And anyways, I'm traveling all over the place. Then he liked me so much that he would, like, regular client, or like his regular parolees would come in on Wednesdays, his whole like caseload, right? But I would come in, he'd tell me to come in on Thursdays. So I'm like the only one. So I come in on Thursdays, and I'd sit down, and he's like, all right, and how was your week? What you been doing? He'd test me in the urine, give me a breathalyzer. I was always clean. You know, I blew one dirty, you know, nothing in 2 years. And he's like, so what have you been up to? And I tell him this is what I'm doing. You know, I'm promoting my book. I'm writing my book. I'm doing this. I'm working on this, that. And I'm like, yeah, I went salmon fishing, and I caught a couple big king salmon, and I show him pictures, and I said, yeah, dude. This guy had the nerve to question me, to kind of check me on eating roadkill. I am not kidding. I eat roadkill. All right. So I went for a ride on my 4-wheeler. I lived in the middle of the woods, right? In the middle of the wilderness, pretty much. My road ends at the end of the road. It turns into a trail system. And I just went for a ride on my quad for a couple hours, ripping through the woods, the hills, playing around, just to get out and enjoy myself. When I came back, there's a big fat dead squirrel laying in the road. And it was like, it wasn't smashed or nothing. It was in perfect condition. It was just big, fat, brown fox squirrel. And so I don't know what happened. It probably, the way they usually die in this case is it shot out under the car. And when it was under the car, it like jumped and it broke its head on the bottom of the car, broke its neck or something. Whatever the case is, it was perfectly fine. A squirrel, right? This is crazy. And I'm like, I'm gonna eat that squirrel. I mean, that's a perfect good squirrels are good eating. So if you've never eaten a squirrel, you know, you're missing out. Squirrels are good. They're very tasty. When you cook them right, you gotta slow cook them. They're a little tough. But if you slow cook them in like a crock pot or just an electric frying pan, or bake them in the oven, But I crock potted it. And it was a big fat one, dude. They're hard to clean though, man. They're really, the skin is like leather, so it's super hard to skin them. And you know, cut the feet off, head off, gut them, and then you crock pot them. So I ate it, and then I tell him, my parole officer, that, and he's like, "Oh, you can't do that. You have to get a permit for that." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me, bro! You're gonna bust my balls about eating a dead squirrel I found on the road? It was right in front of my house too." He's like, "Oh, that's illegal. Next time you got to just permit." I'm like, "Okay, bro. Yeah. Next thing I just won't tell you." I ate a dead squirrel. I need a permit. This is the government we live in. He's a government cog, is what he was. You know what I'm saying? All this parole crap every week to dip my thing for 2 years. It probably cost you $10,000. And by the way, I had to pay for parole too, which is $70 a month. I have to pay. It just, hey, you want to be free? $70. You get out of prison. And, you know, most people when they first get out, $70 is a lot of money. I can't pay it, you go back. That's it. And it's just a freaking shakedown, man. The government, the parole system, the justice, it's all a scam. You know. So, anyways, I paid it, and never had a problem. And he would have me in to talk because he enjoyed conversation with me because he was an outdoorsman. He loved to hunt and fish. So we talk about hunting and fishing and whatever. And I'd be in there for like an hour kicking it with him. So he loved me. And at one point he said, "Bro, you're gonna win an award for having the most fun of anyone on parole. Most fun of somebody on parole." I laughed, whatever. And one time he saw the cops. I was paying a ticket that I got for having a suspended license, and I was at the court building paying it. It's the same building his office is in. And the two cops who wrote me the ticket were there, and they come walking by, and I'm looking at them like, "You motherfuckers," just because they wrote me a ticket for an ORV sticker expired and no license, fishing license, which it expired like 3 days earlier. I just forgot to get a new one. But together it was like $300, $400. And I was saying to him, I'm looking at him like, "Yeah, man, you guys freaking cost me $400, bro." And then my PO comes walking by right at that moment. He goes, "Oh yeah, give him plenty of tickets. He's got money." I'm going, "Oh, I don't. I don't know what the hell is he talking about?" But you know, he looks at my car and stuff, and he thinks I got money. But anyways, back to the gabapentin. When I got tested positive for gabapentin, he says, "Oh, you're tested positive." I'm like, "Well, I got a prescription for it." He's like, "Well, that's a controlled substance." I'm like, "What? Controlled substance? I'm like, since when? What is it?" He's like, "You can get high from it." I'm like, "I don't think you can, man, because I take it every day and I don't feel nothing from it. And it helps my headaches go away, but I mean, I don't feel high in any regards." Like, "Oh no, it's just not controlled substance. You got this." I'm like, "Get the frick out of here." You know, I've never taken more than 2 at once, but then I Google it, and they're like, "Oh, you can get high from it if you mix it with this particular drug and that particular, like you take it with Percodans and codeine, and it'll enhance it or whatever." Get the frick out of here, man. I'm not trying to get high. I just got a headache. So, fast forward to like a year ago, Johnny Mitchell, who I like, who hosts the show, The Connect, right? Anyway, some of you people might watch The Connect. He's got about 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Does mostly true crime stuff. He flew me out to LA and did a show with me, which, you know, he really enjoyed. And he's like, "Dude, your trolls were calling me and bugging me." He's like, "I don't give a crap about your freaking trolls. They're clowns." He's like, "You know, the more they comment, the more the algorithm. I can care less." Not to mention, he said, "Bro, I sat down and had a conversation with you for 2 hours." He's like, you think I can't tell if somebody's a real guy?" Like, he's like, "I did time in prison. I did this. I did it." He's like, "I can tell if a guy's real or not, or fake." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." You know? The people who call into question my life clearly never had any kind of life in the street, because it's easy to, I can tell very easily if a guy's telling, you know, talking, he's full of crap. I spotted guys who were full of crap and got later like exposed for being full of crap. There's this one dude, what was his name? Like a Boston guy, just like redheaded dude who's supposed to be like worked with Whitey Bulger or something like that. I think it was Sean Hicks. And I watched him for like 10 minutes in an interview. I can't remember who it was. It might have been James English, I don't know. Or it might have been Johnny Mitchell. And I'm like, this guy is full of crap, bro. You can just tell he's full of crap. Like, everything he's saying, none of it makes sense. It's not like how gangsters act or talk, and just none of it makes any sense. He's full of crap. I clicked him off, and that was the end of it, right? And then 6 months later, my friend, who was helping him with a book, tried to get a book done. He said, "Man, that guy's full of shit, man. He just got exposed. He's full of such a liar. He owes me a bunch of money. I gave him money for this and that." I'm like, bro, I could have told you that guy was phony took me about 90 seconds. Anyways, back to the Gamma Pen. So, I'm going down to Detroit, right? So here's the deal. Johnny Mitchell wants to do a special on Detroit. He wants to interview me in Detroit, but wants me to show him around Detroit. He's going to be in Cleveland doing comedy because he's a comedian. So he's going to be in Cleveland doing comedy. He wants to drive up and meet me in Detroit, and then wants me to show him around Detroit. The old neighborhood where all the mobsters lived, where I grew up. Just the city in general, the ghettos, the Eastern Market, various places, right? I said, yeah, man. He's like, I'll pay you a few $100. I said, all right, but I hate driving, bro, so I'm going to take a bus down. So you're going to pay for the bus, too, and my hotel. He's like, okay. So the way I worked that out is I had a one-way ticket to the bus because my friend, this is crazy, like, connection. One of my best friends named Albert Murray. He's an awesome dude. He was my cellmate in prison. He was my bunkie for like a year in prison. Good dude. Like a brother. Love him. He's makes an appearance in the documentary that they're making on my life. There's a documentary being made on me. And Albert is one of like 5 or 6 people who are interviewed. People from prison or people from my past. So, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Albert has to go help his sister move up in Grayling, which is about 45 minutes from my house, right? That Sunday. So I was supposed to go down with John and film with Johnny Mitchell Friday and Saturday, and then I'll come home Sunday with Albert. Albert's gonna drive, his girl. Albert and his girl drive. She's got a new Charger, which she's a lead foot too. I hated that. Scared the crap out of me. She thinks she's a race car driver, one of them. Sarah, if you watch this, shout out to Sarah, she's a G. I made a character in my book based on her and Albert. So I go down there to take a bus, and I hate taking buses because I always have bad experiences on buses. I'm wearing an Our Thing tracksuit. It's a nice tracksuit. It's a $200 tracksuit. It's pimped out like a throwback. It's black and white. I got a nice Our Thing apparel duffel bag, Our Thing hat. I look like I probably have a little money, no gold chains, nothing like that. I don't really wear jewelry. I wear this little chain about for $10. This, by the way, this cross, I've had it. It was in prison. A guy gave it to me in prison about 10, 11 years ago. 12, 13 years ago, a long time. The thing broke on it. I had to rig it up with a wire. The hoop is broken, but I rigged it up. I drilled a hole in it because the original hoop broke off. I drilled a hole in it and wired it together. It's a mess. Anyways, I don't wear jewelry. So I'm in this bus station. The bus driver says, we're in Flint for a layover for an hour and a half. I'm like, what? Like an hour and a half? It's already been like 4 hours we've been driving. And then, we're still like a 3-hour bus ride away from Detroit. I'm like, this is crazy, man. Flint is a ghetto. Anybody who knows Flint, everybody knows Flint. It's famous because of the dirty water. Remember, Flint had the dirty water and the government just gave them the dirty water and didn't do anything about it? Well, that's because Flint is run by a bunch of liberal, black, democratic, progressive politicians who scam every dollar they can. Every dollar. So, because there's hearings, you can go watch the hearings, right, between these people, and it's all these black people arguing, and like the poor people of the community are like, you got a $16 million grant from the government to do this and that. You didn't do nothing. Where's the money? They're like, oh, you need it for operational expenses for this and that. $16 million gone. It's the 5th time you got federal aid and you didn't fix nothing. And they're like, hey, sit down and shut up. So, they just steal the money. All they do is, that's a classic, typical left-wing, liberal, democratic politicians. They just get in position so they can steal and beg for money and then give it to their boys and pay for trips and fly private jets. Anyways, Flint is a dump. And there was a lot of dudes from Flint in prison that I didn't like. And the main reason for that is because the only white boys that they ever saw in the ghettos was like crackheads and dope fiends who were down there begging for dope, please, Mr. Dope Man, can I have a deal? Can I get an extra one for $5 or whatever? And they're like, get your bitch ass out of here, and slap them up, beat them up, rob them, And these are just like, people who are at the lowest point. They're weak, they're vulnerable, they're strung out on drugs, and like these young black kids would prey on them, like sport, like beat them up for sport. And then in prison, you hear them talking about it. Dude, I could go on. I got stories. I had one bunkie one time, a dude named Flint. His name was Neek, Dominique. They call him Neek. He was a loud, annoying punk. And my bunkie went to the hole, but then Neek had been in the hole. I listened to him in the card room yelling and talking. He's just a loud, annoying mother effer, bro. Like the worst guy imaginable. And one day, I'm in a level 4 maximum security prison. So the door opens. I'm like, oh great, I'm getting a bunkie. I didn't have a bunkie for a couple days. And all of a sudden, I'm waiting for the bunkie, and this mother effer walks in. He just got out the hole. He's like, what's up, dog? And I'm like, oh, nah, this is the worst case scenario. He was in prison for 10 years for shooting a guy 5 times. But keep in mind, I got 13 to 50 for extortion for simply threatening somebody over the phone. This guy, in retaliation for a shooting on his cousin, pulled up on a dude, jumped out, ran up on him, shot him. The guy ran off. He chased him down the street. Bang, 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 bang. Fired 6 shots, hit him 5 times. The guy didn't die, though. So this dude, Neek, only got 10 years plus... No, he got 9 years plus 2 for the gun. So he got 11 years total, right? Which is less than I got. Unbelievable. For trying to cold-blooded, premeditated murder somebody with a gun. And I got 13 for threatening somebody over the phone. That's how stupid our justice system is. Anyways, right away we get to talking, and I'm kind of sharing some of my story and stuff, and so he starts to realize I'm not just some punk ass white boy crackhead, whatever. Right away, within a day, he's this, because then I got to work out, bro. So I get on the ground, push-ups and stuff like that. I pull my shirt off, I'm all big as hell. He's like, damn, bro, I didn't realize, man, you look like a monster, bro. I'm like, yeah, I keep it covered on the yard. And then I'm talking about fighting and beating people up and whatever. So now he dials his personality down, right? And he's pretty quiet. But that first day, when he first came in there, a porter, this is while we're locked down. We're locked down 22 hours a day, so we're always locked down. There's a bathroom in the cell. You got a crap in front of your bunk. You put a sheet, hang a sheet, and that's that. Flush the toilet. And some black dude, comes to the door, kind of a taller guy. I can still picture his face perfectly. It's funny. And we only got a little glass window in the door. It's one of those big sliding, maximum security doors. It's not bars. You're in there. And there's a food slot, And he walks up and he taps on the thing. He's like, oh, what's up, cuzzo? So it's this dude, Neek's cousin. And he looks like past him through the glass. He goes, oh, I see you a white boy. He's like, you better give him a store list, tell him what you want. Which is him suggesting or implying that I'm a punk and that I'm going to pay Dominique to not beat me up. That's what he was trying to imply. So when he says that, I literally walk right up to Dominique and shove him aside. I go, ain't nobody ever give me no store list, bro. Not here, not you, nobody, bro. That ain't never happening. You got the wrong mother effer, bro. And Dominique kind of he goes, touches his laugh. He's like, nah, bro, relax. He's just playing. And Dominique goes, nah, this is a good one, man. This is a good white boy, man. He's a G, bro. This one's a straight G. He's good. We're good, man. He's good people. We're good people. And the dude's like, oh, okay. I said, yeah. Ain't nobody freaking extort me, bro. Not one person ever tried to extort me in 13 years in prison. Because the first person who did, I had already decided in my mind. The second one person cuts into me and says anything like that, I'm just breaking their jaw. Just wham! And let them have it. Dude, I had this dude named Jeff. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He was in prison with me. He was selling dope at Macomb Prison before I got home. It was a couple years before I got out. And they had a cop bringing heroin in, a black cop. So they were running the dope game, man. And the blacks hated it. The blacks hated it because, dude, they were telling on these guys. The blacks would tell on all these white dudes, constantly tell on him, that guy's selling dope. Because the black dudes sold dope too, but the white dudes had the better dope and they were selling it for better prices. Plus, most of the dope fiends and people buying dope, they didn't want to deal with the black guys. They'd cut it, they'd scam them, they just didn't want nothing to do with the black dudes. And so the black dudes were hating on it. So anyways, this one new guy rides in, right? This new Nation of Islam Muslim dude, a 4-wheeler for sale. Pretty nice quad, $2,000. So I don't say nothing to the dude. One time he was in like the kitchenette near the base, near the officer station. This tall guy, he's a tall guy with glasses. I could tell he's cocky, and I would later learn he was one of the top guys in the Nation of Islam. He's a Mobite. That's the name of the whole Mobite thing, Nation of Islam. So he's one of the top dudes, and he carried himself like he was like Big Willie, you know, like his crap didn't stink. I don't care. I don't. He don't bother. As long as he don't bother me, I don't care. But one day he came in the kitchenette, and I said something trying to be funny, like, I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? And you guys, you know, something about the food, like, bro, you doing it big or something like that. He just looks at me and ignores me. He don't say nothing. He don't nod. He don't smile. He don't say nothing. I'm like, oh, you're one of them. Because usually if you try to be cool with a dude, they're usually like, you know, oh, this white boy's cool. Not every white boy is. I am, but you know I am because you see me on the yard. I'm not clicked up with a bunch of racist skinheads. I'm not in the Aryan Nation. I'm not in a gang. You know, I'm just a big white boy who works out, minds his business. I'm cool with all these black dudes. I hang out with them all the time. I play basketball with them all the time. I work out with them all the time. My whole freaking crew is black dudes, you know? So everybody knows I'm cool with the brothers. But not, like, I don't like them Nation of Islam, you know, scumbags. You know, they're just racist pieces of S. So the dude Jeff comes to me and he says, Al, this Mobite dude's trying to squeeze me, man. I'm like, well, what'd he say? And he says, well, he told me that first I was in the day room playing cards, and he walked over to me and he leans over and whispers, and he's like, listen, man, you got to get me $300 on a green dot, which is like your family goes to the store, gets a green dot card, and I don't know how it works. You need $300, send $300 to my people, you know, by the end of the day, or you got to get off the yard. And this is the guy, and this dude Jeff is selling the weed. I mean, selling the heroin. He's selling dope. And he kind of looked at him like, yeah, whatever, dude. Thought he was like joking or something, right? But later that day, the dude, because the Jeff's at my cell now, and he's telling me what happened. And he says, then he comes back to me later that day. He's like, bro, I ain't get the $300 yet. You know, here's the info again, and have that money, or you got to lock up, bro. You got to get off the yard. I'm gonna stick your ass. And he's like, and he showed me he had a knife. He had a shank. So the Jeff dude, I don't know why he came to me. They always seem to come to me, because I'm the kind of guy who carries myself like a true G. Like, you know, something like this happens, here's how you handle it. So I tell him. I say, the next time that guy says a word to you, bro, one word. You haul back and you hit that mother effer with everything you got, bro. Smash his face in, crush every bone in his skull. And then deal with the consequences. I don't care if you got to do it in front of the cops. I don't have to care who you do it in front of. I don't care if you go to the hole. I don't care. None of that matters, bro. You got to show these mother effers you ain't a punk. Now, I'm thinking he probably ain't going to do it. No, I don't think he's got it in him. He was kind of a gangster white boy, and he hung around some of these other, like, geez, dude named Dominic I'm friends with on Facebook still too. He was a G. He got busted with heroin, selling heroin. He got flopped for that and had to stay in prison another year and a half because he got caught with some dope. I was right there when it happened. He tried to throw it and they saw it. But anyways, that dude Jeff, all of a sudden, I'm in my cell working on my book, typing along like I do all day, every day. And you know when there's a fight, because you hear all the officers come running in because there's a button on their hip, on the little box. They hit the button, it's a panic button, and it tells them exactly where to go. So they all come rushing to that unit. They all come rushing to where it is. It's like a distress call for the officers if they get jumped or just whatever, stabbed. But you hear their keys and you hear their cuffs like jingling. So I'm got my cell cracked open because it's hot, summertime, and I hear yelling. My cell is down the hall down the rock about legit like 40, 50 yards. So I'm way down there towards the end of the rock. And And by the time I like get off my bunk, put my shoes on, and walk down there, they already took Jeff and the dude to the hole. But the dude was splattered, bro. Jeff hit this guy right in the eye, and the guy wore glasses. So the glasses just smashed his eye apart and like shattered his eye and cut everything. And dude, there was blood all over the wall. By the time I come down there, they were already telling the porters, like the porters clean up this mess. They get a hazardous pay. They get like $3 to clean up a blood spill or whatever. And there's blood splatter all over. And I guess I would later find out that the dude walked up to him in the thing and said, "Yo, man, you got my money, man. Or it's time to get out the yard." And then Jeff said he kind of turned and then like acted like he was gonna leave or whatever, and he just like crack and busted this dude in the eye and got his ass good. So, and then he went to the hole and I never saw him again. No, until after I got out of prison. A friend requested me on Facebook. I never saw the black dude again either. They rode him out, something, whatever they did. You go to the hole oftentimes and stuff like that, they just ride you to another prison. They don't want no problems. So, back to this, the reason I told you all that was because I was talking about Flint. Flint is a dump. I was friends with a couple of really cool Flint cats in prison, but most of the Flint guys I was around, I hated them or very strongly disliked. But there was one dude, his name is Al. They called him Capone, black dude. He was one of my best friends, Hank Davis, the black dude who I've had on my YouTube channel a couple of times. He did 19 years in prison. He's still one of my closest friends. Talk to him all the time. It was his bunkie, and a couple times I got into it with some cats, and Capone got a squash. Basically, Capone went over to these people and like, "Yo, you don't want to F it that way. He ain't the one. He's tied to the mob. He's a bad mother effer with these." In fact, that's how he introduced himself to me. He said, "What's up, man? I hear you got connections." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "I hear that you got, you connected." I'm like, "Who said that?" And people say it. I'm like, "What are they saying?" He said, "Man, you got connection." I said, I said, "Well, what else they saying?" He said, "They're saying you nice with these. That's what they say. They said you ain't to be played with these." I said, they're kicking knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And then we became friends. And then he became Hank's bunkie. And he was the only real Flint dude I really liked over the years. So now I'm in Flint, bus ride down to see Johnny Mitchell in the Connect, right? And I'm in Flint, and I'm on a layover. This is a crazy story. And I'm dressed nice. I got this bag, and in my bag, I got a big hunting knife, about that big. Big, stupid-ass hunting knife, man. Now, I'm not playing around. It's like, I can't carry a gun. I am not joking. Like, you'll probably think I'm making this up. In my duffel bag, I had a bear spray, this big bear spray. It's like mace, a can, bear spray, and a big knife. At the time, there had been some Islamic uprisings in and around Detroit because there's a big Muslim community in Detroit. And I'm just like, man, one of these terrorists or something come in and try to get me or hold the bus hostage or whatever. I got bear spray to the face, and I got this big hunting knife, bro. It ain't a gun, but there ain't nobody gonna get down on me. I'm just saying, this is how my mind thinks. This is how the mind of a gangster or ex-gangster thinks, right? I'm not just saying. So, all of a sudden, I'm in this, like, I'm outside where there's some benches, but then there's an inside bus station area too. But I'm outside, and there's like 20 people out there, and we're all waiting for buses, and this big, giant, like, goofy dude comes, like, shuffling by me, and he's, like, dragging his feet. He's looking at me, and he's staring right at me, and I'm just kind of on my phone, like, yeah, what's this dude doing? Like, what's this dude want? He walks by back and forth, like, 3 times, then he walks over to me, and he touches my tracksuit chest, and he goes, "Our thing," pokes it. He goes, "What's that?" I said, "It's a clothing line, bro. Back up. I own a clothing line." He goes, "Huh," and he shuffles off. I'm watching the guy. Oh, by the way, I forgot the most important part. I always tell this story. I forgot to tell the part. The dude's got his hand in the pocket of his hoodie. So the whole time he's walking back and forth with his hand in his hoodie, staring at me. This big, you can tell he's on drugs or drunk. In my mind, I'm thinking he's drunk because he's just acting drunk. He's kind of shuffling and slow. But, you know, it could be drug, it could be anything. It's only like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, is he really drunk at 12 o'clock in the afternoon? I hope not. So, but I'm nervous because he's got his hand in his pocket, the hoodie pocket, right here in the front. And that something ain't right, bro. The guy's got, so right away, I get nervous. I'm like, something ain't right. So I like unzip my duffel bag, and I got my knife in a sheath, and I unclip it out of the sheath, and I gotta pull it out. So it's just laying there on top. Now I'm just sitting there. Then the dude walks over to some black dude who looks like a straight crackhead. I'm not, listen, the dude had his old dingy red jacket that looks like he got it from the Salvation Army. And he's going, anybody want to sell some cigarettes? Anybody want to sell some cigarettes? And he walks over to some other woman. You got a lighter? Like, he ain't got a lighter. This is a crackhead or a dope fiend or something, right? But then the big dude, Shuffler, walks over to him, and they're only about 20 feet away, not even. And the big dude starts whispering something to the other guy. And they're looking at me, man. They keep looking at me. And I'm like, what the frick, man? Are these people planning on trying to rob me? Like, dude, I'm thinking to myself, you're going to make the biggest mistake of your life, bro. Like, I'm the last guy you should be, you know, plotting the freaking jack. Like, I'm just, you can't be that smart. Because if you're looking at everybody in there, I probably look like I have more money than everyone, which was a stupid move on my part. If I ever take a bus again, I'm going to look like a bum. But I was just dressed the way I normally dress. But picking a guy like me, because I'm big, I'm a big shaved head, bald dude. Look, you know, I don't look like a punk, that's for sure. So why you're picking me for a mark, man? You must be on drugs or dumb. So the two dudes are like looking at me, and so the one dude, the big dudes, they start coming towards me. I get so nervous. I'm like, I gotta go. I said, I'm looking around. There's no cameras out there, right? I'm like, well, there's probably are some cameras inside where you can wait inside. I'm assuming, right? There's one guy in there who works there, but he's behind bulletproof glass. That's how bad Flint is. The bus station is behind bulletproof glass. So is Detroit. No, actually, Detroit isn't. No. Greyhound's wide open. So I like jump up before they get to me, and I walk into the place, and there's about 15 people in there sitting around. I sit down next to these two black girls, like young black girls. One of them's kind of cute, so I'm like, not flirting with her, but I'm just like, hey, what are you guys going on? And I'm talking to him, and I see through the window that big dude coming, and he's looking at me, and he's coming toward me, and he walks by me, and he stares dead at me, man. He's staring dead at me as he walks by. Shuffles. He shuffles me, and he goes towards the bathroom. My hand is gripped on this knife, and I'm telling you, in my mind, he's still got his hand in his pocket. And I'm telling you in my mind, this is how my mind thinks, and I'm prepared to do this. I'm not gonna die. I'm not letting some drugged out or drunk mother effer kill me. That ain't gonna happen. So I'm gonna kill him first. That's going through my mind. So if his hand comes out of his pocket with a knife, a gun, a screwdriver, anything, bam! That's it. I'm putting this knife through the side of his head. That's it. I'm going to jam the knife through the side of his skull. It'll probably almost come out the other side and kill him instantly. And then I will worry about court and the police. And I mean, listen, this guy, if there is a camera, they can see how he was acting. He walked up to me and poked me a couple times. He's staring at me, and he walks up on me and pulls a weapon out of his pocket. What did you want me to do, man? Wait for him to stab me or kill me or shoot me? No, I did what any sane person would do. I took his ass out. That's that. If I gotta go to jail and fight in court, at least I'm alive. Sorry, honey, I'll miss you. Hopefully, I get out of this. You know, they're always gonna look at my record and say, "Oh, I'm the aggregator or the aggravator or whatever." But this is going through my mind. I'm thinking, now, can you imagine how like terrified I am at the moment? I'm not bragging about this. I am terrified. I'm absolutely terrified right now that I'm gonna have to kill a guy and go to prison, go to jail and fight it. I'm just like, man, this can't be happening, man. But I'm playing it out in my mind. I'm like slow motion. What do I got to do? I can't miss with the knife. I could stab him in the chest, but he's still going to have enough time to pull the trigger 3, 4, 5 times, you know? If I stand him in the heart. If you hit him dead in the heart, he's still got 3, 4 seconds before he's, you know, he got a gun, he could blast me and kill me. I got to go for the head. I got to jam the knife through his skull. The knife's sharp, it'll go right through like butter. Wham. Then he comes out of the bathroom, and I stiffen up. I got my hand on that knife. And he walks over to me, and he's looking at me, and he leans over, and he goes, "You like Nordies?" And I gently push him a little bit. I said, "Hey, bro." I said, no. I said, "Probably not. I don't know what that is. Please, can you back up and give me some room?" He goes, "Nordies, Nordies." I'm like, "Bro, I don't know what the F a Nordy is, bro. So please, get away from me, man. I don't want any Nordies. I don't want no problem." And he goes, "Huh," and he walks away. And then he walks outside, and I see him out through the window talking to the crackhead black dude. And I'm nervous wreck because I'm thinking they're going to try to come in there and get me. And then finally my bus comes, not 5 minutes after that. The bus comes, and they're like, "Hey, Detroit bound, boarding now." And I'm like, "Whew." And then I'm like, "Please don't let this dude be on my bus." And he wasn't. He was waiting for another bus. So I get on my bus and I go. I get to Detroit and I tell Johnny Mitchell, I'm like, "Bro, you ain't paid me enough money for this, bro." And he's like, "Listen, I almost had to kill a mother effer on the way here." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "It ain't funny, bro. It ain't nothing to laugh about. I thought I was going to have to kill a mother effer on the way here." And excuse my French, I got to stop saying mother effer. But dude, it was one of those situations where it's apropos. And so, anyways, that was that story. So Nordies, right? So I Google up Nordies, and it's Neurotins. And so I don't even know what a Neurotin is. Then I Google it, and it's like a generic for Gabapentin. I'm like, "Oh, Gabapentin, I take those every day for my headache." I didn't know you could get high from them. And then I remember my parole officer saying, "Oh yeah, the controlled substance you can get high from." I'm like, I don't feel them at all. But anyways, that was when I was leaving just now. They wrote my prescription for a year because my doctor's retiring. Well, semi-retiring. Basically, the government forced his small practice out of business. He said every year they raise my permits and licenses and insurance more and more. It's gotten to the point now that I can't meet their standards and make any money. You know what I'm saying? So here's a brains doctor, neurologist. He's probably making $250,000 a year, but he should be making $800,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, "I'm out. I'm just gonna go work for the big corporate medical system. At a hospital, just have a regular paycheck. He'll probably make $300,000 a year there, and won't have all the insurance and overhead in the office and employees and all that. He just shows up to work, does the job, he's out." But anyways, when I was walking out, they said, "Oh, your prescriptions," and they said Neurotins. And I go, "What's that?" I'm like, Neurotin. You've been taking it. I'm like, "What's Neurotin?" And they're like, "Gabapentin." I'm like, "Oh, okay, Gabapentin. I get it now." So that's my story about Gabapentin and Neurotin, and how I almost had to kill a sucker. There's a cat. I don't want to hit a cat. That cat had a bag. There's a bag with some food in it. Probably got it from somebody's garbage, and he was dragging it across the road just now. This random stray cat, and he was dragging his bag. When he saw me, he let it go and ran. There's quite a few stray cats around here. They don't come around my house too much though, because I don't think they like my chickens. And I also have Cracky, my guard cat. She's not a threat to anybody though, so I don't know, man. I see cats over at this house all the time over here, but they never really come over to my house unless my Cracky's in heat, and the males on 1 or 2 might come over. But there's a house across and down from me, and I always see 5 cats hanging out by the barn and stuff, but they don't come by my house too much. Not sure why. I don't bother them, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad they don't, because my wife will start feeding them, and the next thing you know, we got another freaking cat. But anyways, so that's my story. That's my street beats. God bless you. Have a great time. Gave you a little funny story. Hope you enjoyed. Listen, stay out of trouble. Put God first, and do the right thing at all times. I promise you, if you do the right thing at all times, God will reward you. And it might not be with material wealth and things that you're looking for, but it will be with peace, happiness, and purpose. And there's nothing more precious in life than peace, happiness, and purpose. I mean, that's it. If you achieve peace, happiness, and purpose, you reached nirvana, man. You cracked the code. So God bless you, and I wish that on everybody. So take care. Look for cats. Yep, there they are. There's like 3 of them on the dumpster over